doo-doo diamond.
A doo-doo diamond. All right.
Diamonds in the doo-doo.
Take. What was that?
Huh? What happened? Fire in the hole?
That setup ain't gonna work, Brad.
It's going to work perfect. Look.
You just cannot knock into it. Yeah. Don't move.
Man, this is the most comfortable setup ever.
Put your left hand directly in your lap, and you might get away with it.
Why?
All right.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm
I know you do.
Semi-professional.
All right, so I got to get a little hotter over here.
I'll take a little more. Yeah, I'm still. Is it okay that I'm only getting right ear?
You shouldn't be. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I don't think.
Got to get it all the way in, Kevin.
Oh, you're a little hot there.
Me?
No, that was Caleb I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how's it sound to you, Bradford?
I feel like my headphones can go up just a touch.
How about now?
Much better.
Is that much better?
Yeah.
Oh, Caleb's need to go up too.
A little more me, a little less Brad.
Story of my life. Story of my life. All right. We are hot and ticking and rolling and all that good stuff.
Heckin' yes.
Shall we?
We shall.
Hello, everyone. It is Shiftless. Boy, howdy. Are we going to have a weather report from Bradford today?
It is wet.
And windy.
Yes.
And who knows what's coming.
You know, it's only taken me like 100 plus episodes, but I'm starting to really enjoy our intro song.
Okay.
It's really growing on me.
After 100, what is this, 103, I think? Something like that. Do you want me to change the music?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was being, what's the opposite of facetious? I was being legit.
You were being sincere.
I was being sincere.
There's a first time for everything.
We are at Casa Wills. What do we call it here?
I believe the
Casa de Biscuit.
What do you call it that?
Yeah.
I like Rancho Wills.
Rancho Wills. And
we are joined by the great DJ Caleb.
Nope, wrong one. Oh no!
What in
the world? There it is. Yeah, my buttons aren't labeled and I don't use it enough.
I'm gone a couple of weeks and I come back and
it's more than a couple of weeks.
Absolute chaos.
Well, the whole plan was to rehearse the keypad before we got going, but
yeah, that didn't happen,
we're lucky to have microphones set up in some form or fashion.
Hey, I need your Wi-Fi password so I can surf porn while we're doing this.
Okay.
Everybody listen closely. We're not going to edit this out.
The password is 1.
The password is
2. 3.
Are you being serious? Am I supposed to be talking this in?
No, I'm listening to you.
This makes for fantastic radio.
Well, if we wouldn't have been scrambling trying to hook our microphone to everything that didn't work, we would have been recording like 30 minutes earlier.
What time? Yeah, what time?
It's
never
10.
Mind.
It's
never
10
mind.
o'clock.
It's 10.
Good thing we got weather keeping us from getting anything else done today. So tell us about the weather that's out there at the moment, Bradford, and what's going to be happening for the foreseeable future.
They're calling for over an inch of rain. There is a big cell that's sitting. We're basically just on the south side of it, on the very southern edge of this cell.
But it's basically going to wipe out all of North Texas for several days worth
Trails are going to be closed for certain.
Yeah.
It's not going to be bueno.
I might be premature here. I don't think I will be. We'll make this a tentative announcement at the moment. But the likely scenario for this weekend's Hell of the North Texas out of Paris, Texas those roads will be underwater, so we will be shifting to the net once again, which we did last year and was quite enjoyable riding.
Oh, I might ride that. When is that?
Saturday.
What time?
Well, officially starts at 9. What's your?
I have a crawfish boil I'm going to on Saturday.
Okay. What time?
3-ish in Grapevine.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
It's on your way home from Paris.
Yeah.
The other option is roll up there Sunday morning, and
Oui, Paris.
I may.
Sunday morning. You said the ride's on Saturday.
The ride's on Saturday, but I'm going to be staying through, and I might ride Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up there myself, potentially. Potentially. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if we're just riding the net, I'm only putting up 2 arrows the whole way, so.
That's true.
Quicker setup for you, right?
Turn around here. So.
Is it going to be similar to what we did last time?
I don't know. Did you do it last year?
I did the one where we took out of Farmersville.
It'll be this would be out of Paris. So it would be a bunch of new stuff in that case if you haven't been up there.
Yeah, because we rode roads and gravel and stuff and then came back.
Oh, you're talking about the Shadezilla ride last year.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I'm looking forward to Shadezilla 2025 myself. That will happen again.
That worked out really well.
Definitely a fan of that one.
Yeah.
Now this one's the net out of Paris. I'm getting so much echo, but the AI will clean it up.
How far is that from what's the trail there in Paris?
The net.
Bingsley?
Oh.
Starts with a B.
That's not Paris.
Is it not Paris?
That's Sherman.
Oh, but isn't there a pump track in Paris?
There is a pump track in Paris.
Okay, how far is...
That's right where we're staging is the pump track.
Oh, well, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, bring your BMX bike.
I will. I'll bring my jump park bike.
There we go.
Bring the bike that does backflips.
Yeah.
And we will hook the 360 camera right up to your ass.
Funny story about
cameras and asses.
35 years ago, it wasn't 35 years ago because of this one. I was at Sun and Ski at Grapevine Mills Mall, and I was there talking to Nate Goodell and Flying Brian Smith, and a guy walked in.
That was not 35 years ago.
No,
but okay, but I'm listening.
6 or 7. Anyway, a guy came in, and clearly this guy had been chemically enhanced with illegal chemicals, and he went on and on about making sure that they showed him every backflip bike.
Oh,
he
really?
walked in and said, "I need a backflip bike." I'm like, "What? I need a backflip bike. You need a bike that does backflips?" "Yeah, I need a backflip bike." And so they were showing him different bikes. And he says, "This bike does backflip?" And I don't know if you know Nate. He's a very, very soft, very gentle personality, and he was trying so hard to explain to this guy.
So the polar opposite of Brian.
Yes, that is correct. So anyway, now that's my favorite thing to go in sometimes to Villa Republic. And
so I'm sorry, just clarify things for me. When you say obviously chemically enhanced, are you talking?
No.
Or are you talking?
Yeah, he was
flying.
Yeah, man.
Snooted on something.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the gentle kind either. I think it was the class 1, class A.
I don't know.
The stuff that rots your teeth.
He was on the stuff that rhymes with Beth.
Yeah, the teeth rotter stuff.
Yeah.
Beth,
teeth
I'm
rottery.
coming home.
That's nowhere near the way the song goes. But
Yeah, no. It's the best I could do.
Oh, if you want someone to fuck up a song,
I'm your guy.
ask Brad to sing it for you.
I am your guy.
He's fantastic at remixes because nothing he sings sounds like the original.
I can carry a tuna can. I can carry a tune.
A tuna can.
It is still raining for the record. I'll just keep you guys updated.
Pretty sure it's gonna rain all day.
My rain barrel's full.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
So it's gonna get fuller.
You should
just spill it. My rain barrel spilleth over.
Do you have to treat that at all, like to keep mosquitoes from growing in
they
it?
make these little things called mosquito dunks. They're got little donuts.
Uh huh.
And you break them into pieces.
And it doesn't affect you watering plants with it?
That's what it's for. Well,
Okay.
I mean, they keep it in the gardening section, so I'm going to assume that it's safe.
I was just
I
curious.
haven't grown a third leg yet. So.
You could also just hook an aerator up to it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Oh yeah, that's true. We had a full discussion about anaerobic last night at the. Roy Williams was giving me the whole anaerobic versus aerobic, talking about filtration and aquariums.
That guy knows a lot of things.
Dude, he is.
He's a smart guy. I think he's been around.
He's a wealth of information.
Yeah, he is.
Between him and Justin Helpenstill,
Yeah.
it's like Jesus.
It's like going to your own masterclass.
Yeah, it's like I need some ADHD medication so I can pay attention, and also can I just record this conversation and have ChatGPT break it down for me?
On ADHD medication, I can tell you that I can't keep up.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's going to be your
It's
savior.
it's pretty fun
Brad's
conversation.
just looking for another excuse.
You seen this?
I have not.
This is the new Revelate, and I had to pull it up so I could pronounce it correctly, and I will give you the etymology of the word. This is the Tarsier.
Tarsier? Tarsier?
Tarsier. It's either Tarsier or Tarsier, depending on where you're from. And a Tarsier is a monkey that has long fingers and powerful leaping ability. And I think the reason why they use that name for this thing is because it holds everything very tightly. So, what is it? It is a new bottle cage / anything cage design from Revelate. It's lighter than those gigantic Blackburn or anything cages, but it's a lot smaller. And when I got it in, I was showing it to Brad. I was like, I don't know if I can use this. It's tiny. It's got the little removable faceplate at the bottom.
Yeah, that's what that is.
To hold things.
That's a little foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something like that. Where did it go?
It screws in the bottom, but the nut
there it
is
is.
on my desk. I forgot to include it, but there's a nut that
Uh,
slides in that back.
now I get it. I had it upside down.
That would hold like a bottle, or like Brad's case, he uses the white fuel for his stove.
Yeah.
So I was
worried.
worried,
figured you'd handled
Yeah.
Caleb's toy.
Yeah.
was worried that things weren't gonna. I was just worried because it's so small. Like it's about the size of a checkbook, right?
Yeah.
It's about the size of a bottle cage.
Nobody knows what a checkbook
But it's
is.
flat. So anyway, look it up. But the cool thing is it's got these rubber bumpers that you can move around. And Brad said, just test it and see if you liked it. So I used it to carry my stool up to, my sitting stool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
A
know.
chair.
I personally carry my own stool myself.
Until you don't.
Until I don't. My camp stool, and it held it perfectly all the way up to Munster, the Red River route.
And where did you have that mounted?
This was mounted to my fork.
Okay, so you use that as a smaller fork mount than an anything cage, basically.
My concern,
In your case, that time.
right? And I took the foot off at the bottom. I was worried that things were going to slide up and down, and it wasn't going to be any useful. Matter of fact, it's very useful. And these rubber bumpers here, these gaskets, prevent anything from sliding around. So this is fantastic. At first, when I first got it, I was like, oh, this is useless. I'm going to give it away. And now
You know me, I'm a devil's advocate type. So aside from just using wall-off straps around the fork and strapping it directly to the fork, what's the advantage of this over?
It's got a sturdy backing, and it keeps something from wrapping around your fork and going into your wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it mounts here with the regular bottle mounts.
Right.
Against your fork or underneath your frame.
Right.
And it's just a smaller profile than those giant anything
It's
cages.
just a smaller profile anything cage.
Yeah.
At what premium to a bigger profile anything cage?
What's the retail on it? Like 42?
59.
59.
Well, I had a little bit of freelance money to
That seems a
to
little.
spend.
That seems a little spendy for what that is.
Right, but
But it's exactly what I expected it to be.
I'm giving it.
What's an anything cage these days? 35?
That I don't know.
Yeah, could
I
be.
have two of them. I was thinking about getting one of those, but that's a little.
Don't
Maybe
get me wrong. I like the design. I like the thing.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture. Like the problem with those anything cages is if you want to carry something smaller, it just swallows it up. Like I used to put.
Not
my
really.
Well, I did.
You
My
just-
camp stool is only about the diameter of a baseball when it's.
Yeah, but
That's when you wrap it in a bag of weed.
No, you just
Well,
change your
that's true.
configuration for your straps because you can route those straps to that anything cage multiple ways.
No. What I'm saying is that anything cage that I have, that Blackburn,
Yeah.
it's so big, it's just a waste of space.
Oh, I was
and
talking
a
about-
waste of weight because it
Yeah.
weighs almost twice as much as
Yeah.
this.
All right. weight weaniness
Oh,
is
here
what
we
it.
go.
Well-
That's what it really is, though.
So I was going.
Not that that's a bad thing, but this is.
I was going more Dylan Johnson minded on this because when I put my anything cage, now when I say anything cage, I'm talking about the Revelate one, the plastic composite body one, that's probably twice as large as that and has a huge footer. When
No, anything is salsa, actually. Let me look it up.
Yeah, salsa makes the anything cage.
yeah, then I'm all messed up.
There are numerous anything cage sized options out there these days.
But
and this is a third of the size of one of those, maybe.
Yeah, but my concern, like I was saying, is when I put mine on, as soon as I'm not using it, I'm like, this is just a gigantic airfoil. I'm going to take it off. With that, I think I would leave that on. You know, I wouldn't be as concerned about taking it off. Plus, I love how it has the slotted holes.
Yeah.
So you don't have to take your bolts completely out of your freaking fork to mount it.
Why hasn't people done this? This is what's on the back of a $5 Walmart picture frame.
Yeah.
Those little slots that you'd hang on the wall.
Yeah, it's like, what have we been doing?
Yeah. And you can move these bumpers around, which is cool.
Yeah.
So if you have an even narrower bottom.
Okay, I changed my mind. I'll buy one. Shit.
Get them a shot of whiskey real quick.
All right. Moving on. Anyway, I liked it. I didn't like it at first, and then I used it, and then surprisingly, it's cool.
Episode 103-ish, brought to you by Revelate.
Revelate. Speaking of Revelate, I need some. I actually remembered yesterday before I left for TNSS to move my bags from my Chumba to my Karate Monkey.
Okay.
And it just solidified the fact that I need 2 more bags in my life, so I don't have to move my stuff when I want to grab another bike.
Every bike should just have every bag, is my opinion.
I've not run into that issue prior, but you are correct.
Over time, it's like I need that bag on this bike. Is what ultimately always happens on my end.
Yeah.
So.
I need to at least have somewhere where I can carry my phone.
Sure.
Because I don't do jersey pockets and stuff.
Correct.
And then I need just tiny little saddle bag that I can carry like 2 or 3 CO2s and what are those, Ride Now tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it because I have my tools and my handlebars. So I'll be on the lookout for something like that.
Understood.
And I really love the bag that's on my bike, but it was a one-off. So, I don't know.
I forgot to bring it and show it to you guys, but I also bought the Stoked, which is their new it's smaller than the not terrible.
It's a mini bike packing saddle
Shrew.
bag.
Yes, it is, and it's good for.
The Shrew is the one you're thinking
It's
of.
a little smaller than the Shrew,
Yeah.
but it also it almost has an anti-sway. Not that the Shrew swayed, but it did move a little bit.
Yeah.
It's got these new like padded bumpers and reinforced here. So it sticks a little better to your seat. Anyway, it holds it'll hold.
You think I could put a tube and maybe 3 CO2s in it?
Yeah, you could do that.
You might be able to. Yeah. Maybe 8
Or you
tubes
can
and
strap
20
it to- You can strap
CO2s.
it to your frame too. So it's like an in between.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I had it on my cutthroat for a while. I like it. I don't. What else? What else with bikes? Bike prices? Have we seen bike prices go up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
We
I think what we're going to start experiencing is not only are prices going to go up, but you're going to start having a lot more shortages like we experienced during COVID because people are just either halting or slowing production. From what I'm seeing, I watched a couple of videos so our guy from bikepacking.com, I can't ever remember his name.
I can never remember his name.
But he did
The Ned Flanders of bike packing.
Yeah, he did
Put glasses on him and he'd be
numerous videos at Sea Otter, but the one I just watched day before last, I guess it was tariffs and how they're going to affect cycling, and he asked all of these different vendors, and it was a unanimous yes, it's going to affect numerous of our product lines, and then there were even ones that were, we manufacture everything in the United States, but this is still going to affect us. So it was kind of eye-opening to see the anticipation of how tariffs were going to impact the cycling industry.
Well,
So
did you see the news on Oveja Negra?
Yeah, they laid off like 7 or 8 people.
Laid off 7 and turned their two other full-time employees into contract employees.
Who
And they
is-
source everything in the United States.
who is that?
They
They're
are
a
the
bag
best
maker.
bikepacking bag maker in the world.
And
They're
say-
really good.
And say their name again.
Oveja Negra, out of Trinidad, Colorado. Oh, Salida, Colorado. Excuse me.
I don't guess I know that.
Oh, their stuff is
Yeah,
fantastic.
they make really good ones.
How do you spell it?
Oveja.
Hold up, I gotta find a tab that I'm not using. O
Do you-
V E J A
Space
Negra. I
Negra.
see it.
Yeah, their stuff is fantastic.
Huh. Do they have a seat bag?
They
Look at that.
they have everything.
Oh, they just have big bags.
Black sheep.
Black
I
sheep.
don't know.
But
Oveja's Negra's black sheep.
Oh.
yeah. So, and they do source everything in the United States, and they are a USA production company.
But do they cater a lot to the European market? Is that
Some, but not.
that was what I understood. Is,
That's part of the equation. But what the real nuts and the bolts of it is, like we've talked about the past few weeks, is with all of this tariff stuff that's up in the air and nobody knows what it really means. People just aren't ordering anything right now.
yeah.
Because you can order $50,000 worth of parts for bikes that, well, is this $50,000 or is this $250,000?
Yeah.
And you're not going to know until it arrives. So people just aren't ordering stuff because they need to know what it's going to cost them. And that's not just bike stuff. That's everything. That's why they're saying we're about 2 or 3 weeks away from Target and Walmart shelves going empty on a bunch of stuff.
I was watching a bunch of fear-mongering videos about that
I
today.
don't think it's
I
fear
don't
mongering.
think I think the truth lies somewhere in between,
Yeah.
which that's scary enough.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not going to have anything in their stores.
So should we go buy toilet paper?
Well, that stuff's going to happen. People are going to freak out over individual items, and which
Yeah.
is going to ultimately, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy for certain things.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just stuff that we're not even thinking about. I'm not saying this is what it is, but maybe all of a sudden you can't get 9-volt batteries anywhere, sort of thing.
My vibrator doesn't run on 9-volt batteries anymore. I upgraded to rechargeable.
You've upgraded to rechargeable.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't be able to get USB-C cables anywhere anymore. It's just going to be oddball stuff that's all of a sudden going to be not
Can you
available.
imagine- Can you imagine a world where you didn't open a drawer and there was 37 USB-C cables?
There's already screenshots I'm seeing on Threads and X of people in various manufacturing and retailing sectors where they have screenshotted their invoice.
Mm-hmm.
And it has
Like,
tariffs.
And the tariff.
And
the
you
tariffs
have
are-
to take some of it with a grain of salt because a lot of them are trying to be anonymous. Like one of them said, I work for a major toy retailer. I don't know what that means. Here is an invoice of a recent order in the
Kids still play with toys?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
I mean-
it was like a $780
What-
invoice. For,
I mean,
for product.
UPS just yesterday announced laying off 20,000 people.
Holy shit!
20,000?
I think that's what I saw.
Jeez.
Maybe it's 2,000. Maybe I got a bunch. And because Amazon's business has already dwindled so much,
Yeah.
and a lot of UPS's trucks were going out just basically full of Amazon stuff, and that's not happening now.
So on this invoice, it was $780 something for the actual product that they ordered,
Sure.
and there's the shipping cost was on there, and then it showed the tariff adjustment or whatever that line item was. It was $6,000. So again, grain of salt, but I'm seeing
Yeah, UPS cuts 20,000 jobs, closes facilities. So we don't know what this is going to look like. It's just, again,
Is it going to be like a shockwave kind of thing where everything happens all at once and then it recovers? Or
no.
is it
It's-
going to be
it's
more
go-
of a COVID kind of thing where things go away and they never come back?
It's gonna be it's going to be a water torture type thing. I was going to say Chinese water torture type thing, but that would seem politically incorrect. But a water torture type thing where it just slowly drips and this gets worse and worse and worse. And there'll be some boiling frog scenario where people get used to it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, then people will come across stuff. It's like, oh, wait a minute. This is something I buy twice a year, and now I can't get these air conditioning filters. Or where do I go from an air conditioning? There is no air conditioning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then when it turns around, the turnaround could start 2 weeks down the road, but it's not going to be an instantaneous turnaround. It's going to, realistically, however long it took to get to that state, double that for it to come back to whatever the new normal is.
Well, I saw one product specifically that I'm recalling now. Silco was set to release their
pump.
And they said they're not going to release it to the U.S.
States.
market.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I will throw in my 2 cents worth on that one. That Silca pump looks suspiciously similar to the Cycle Plus pump.
They're all coming out of the same factory. They just have a
with
different logo on it.
It's got the Silca full metal housing on it,
Yeah.
which is sexy as hell. I don't dispute that. Maybe the internals are different, but there's a lot that's awfully darn similar.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
It goes on.
I'm a fan of the Silca stuff, but Josh is a hell of a marketer. I will give him that.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a marketer.
So this says that Kent
I just read that. I was going to bring it up.
halts Chinese imports. Tariffs could force production suspension.
Yeah, and they account for. What did it say? It's the largest mass supplier of bike frames in the United States. So this is kids and commuter, which is we sometimes tend to overlook that. That is a much bigger market than what we are.
It's not all titanium bike packing bikes.
Oh, titanium is forever.
Titanium. And that's.
Did your guys' shorts just get tighter when you all said titanium together?
Mine doesn't work like that anymore. I'm getting old.
I'll send you this link. It's got a 15% off coupon.
Will you send it to me too?
Bluetooth.com.
I mean, the downside, there's all sorts of downside to it, but.
Are we still talking about your pants?
Yeah. The big problem, well, okay, we're still talking about my pants. Well, it's a little problem. But the real deal is everybody, even if announcements are made that this isn't the case anymore, nobody's going to believe shit. Because, well, that's what they say today, but then what are they going to say next week? And it's scary how long of a holding pattern people are going to, companies are going to have to be on stuff.
That was me.
Was it? Okay.
Putting this tallow in.
Brad never makes noises.
I won't touch you.
No, we're not talking about me. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a mess. At the moment, I'm glad I've got all the bicycles I do have.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm so glad that currently I don't live in an N+1 situation.
I think I've got enough to get by for most anything.
And when the power grid goes down, what are you going to do with your e-bike? That's the question.
I'm gonna be out here pedaling, and you guys.
I got all sorts of solar panels
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
and solar generators.
You're going to have a generator just for your e-bike?
Hey, priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I've got pedal bikes, believe it or not.
That wasn't directed at you. That was directed at all of the
all of the e-bike riders that might be out there.
I just read where was that? Austria. Now their e-bike sales account for 57% of all sales in Austria.
So,
Oh shit!
what?
Yeah, e-bikes now 57% of bike sales in Austria.
Look, I didn't know they launched it. Shimano Trailborne. Now I can talk about it.
Very cool.
Beyond product creation, it's important for big bike and component brands to understand that unlike road cycling, mountain biking depends on access to well-maintained trails. That insight has sparked decades of support for trail advocacy and building efforts across the globe by all types of individuals and organizations. Now, Shimano is deepening its commitment with the launch of the Trailborne Fund. Trailborne is an initiative to build more mountain bike trails globally. It's a fund, and Shimano awards and releases the funds based on projects that are presented via proposal. They place a priority on new hero community trails and old trails that need help, where they might be able to be rebuilt and relaunch them back into the community. Right now, Shimano has set aside $10 million for this fund, and we think it's a great example set for other large bike industries to follow. That's on bikepacking.com, and I've been working on that for 2 years, and it's nice to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yay, more trails. Yep. So we worked on that.
Good job, sir.
Super pumped.
Very cool.
Looks like they launched it at
Sea Otter. Everything's launched at Sea Otter. I may go next year, possibly.
I got a really close friend that lives 3 miles from the racetrack, and he's always said, "Just come stay with me." And I tend to forget to book travel by the time it's around.
Let's plan on that.
Yeah.
Let's plan on that.
Yeah.
And I did get some clarification. Speaking of Sea Otter, I did get some clarification. I can't remember where I saw it, but the gravel route was almost exactly the same as last year's mountain bike route, with just the most technical sections removed. So it was basically the same stuff.
Okay.
Can't remember where I got that clarification from. It's not going to stop. Has anyone seen how our local hero Lauren Stevens has been kicking ass?
I saw this ride she did the other day. It was like 65 miles or something, and she did it in like 3 hours. And I was like, "That's impressive." And then I looked at the elevation. It was like 5,400 feet of elevation, and so I saw her average was like 21.2, and I struggled to wrap my brain around how you do that much elevation.
Was that Levi's Grand Fondo, or was that Tour of the Gila? Do you remember which one that was?
No clue.
Because I haven't seen the footage from Tour of the Gila.
I follow her on Strava, so I was just looking through Strava and I was like, holy crap.
I mean, that Levi's Grand Fondo that she won, she basically did that solo.
Yeah.
Solo breakaway.
She's a beast.
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Did you order your state mountain bike yet, Kevin? Before the tariffs happened?
Well, no, the tariffs were already in it. That's why that was part of the reason I didn't pull the trigger on it. And I have at this point opted to still not pull. Make no mistake, I am very, very curious on the bike, but
yeah,
I've decided to shift my focus to making the El Jefe a true mountain bike rig as opposed to a bike packing rig.
I support that.
So I putting a shorter stem on it, and I was going to try to put a titanium post on it as well, and haven't been able to source a titanium post.
I know a guy
for it. So
Brad knows a guy.
Oh, I know a guy.
I opted to try the Red Shift suspension post.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to give that a shot.
Okay.
See what it's like, and then wait for the tariff stuff to ease up. And
I can't recommend the Bingham ones enough. They were formerly Ericsson.
So that I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember what the name was.
Yeah. And dare I say, I loved them when they were Ericsson, and I don't know when the transition happened, because it's still the same design as far as the post goes, but the mount now, how it mounts to, you mount your seat to it, the mechanism has changed, and it's far better than it was, which I didn't think they could improve on it. And now you get your saddled to where you want,
Mm-hmm.
and you tighten down the interior.
Well, look at. I couldn't remember the name, so I didn't find that one. Look them up. Tell me what their current stock status is, and their current price for the Bingham 31.6 seat post.
Built bikes. Man, I love their stuff. And here's the cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you already know this, but I just want to say it again. Our buddy Lambo does all their custom engraving,
Yes,
and so
he's made some really cool stuff for them.
So he's now engraved. I have 2 posts. I mean, I have 5 of their posts. Only one is Bingham, but they're all Ericsson by nature. And I had him engrave my Fargo, the one that's on my Fargo, and the one that's now on my Chumba. I think that makes it so much more special.
Yeah, back in the day, Lambo. Actually, I think we might have got him started on his commercial engraving business by doing the Spinistry flasks. He started those.
That's so cool. You need a straight post or a layback?
I was thinking I would need a layback with the shorter stem. Nico's saying that I'll still want the straight post.
Okay. So, you said 30.9?
31.6.
Oh, they don't have a 31.6. You have to run a shim.
So they have a 30.9 with a shim?
They have a 30.9. I think that's what I'm running on
The
the
Chumba?
Chumba. Yeah. Pick a color. What color you want?
Just black.
Black. Oh, they don't have black. Oh, midnight. They have midnight.
Okay. Just give me a price.
I'm looking.
And availability.
$325,
Okay.
but out of stock.
And out of stock.
And
That's the problem I've been running into in all the titanium stuff.
Titanium.
I think it's a tariff byproduct at the moment, but I'm not positive of
Yeah,
that.
that was another thing that was covered in that video that I was talking about. They were talking about just materials. Because you have to have materials to build stuff. Even if you're manufacturing in the United States, all of your materials aren't necessarily sourced in the United States. And titanium was one of the ones that they specifically referred to. This makes me so sad.
It could change overnight. It could.
Let's see what ChatGPT says about titanium.
So, anybody have any bicycle adventures upcoming? Anybody here ride bikes, actually?
I do. I ride bikes. I have to tell you, Kevin, I was going to ride that route you sent me. First of all, thank you for sending me that route, like lickety split. I was like, I was blown away.
The Sunday route?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I opted, so quick little story. I opted not to ride on Sunday because it was windy as shit.
Okay. It was windy as shit.
Yeah.
And I rode in that stuff.
Yeah. And then Monday, when I was leaving, I was also not going to ride because it was windy as shit. And Shannon happened to send me a text and he goes, "You want to have some coffee?" Because him and I have coffee almost every morning. It's hit or miss lately, but so I got on the phone with him because I was just loading up my truck. And by the time I got through telling him I wasn't going to ride, and then I was kind of upset because the gravel out there was great, and it was so remote, and there was nice climbing and great views. I had talked myself into riding, and so I went and rode on Monday. And that route, I'm not exaggerating when I say I think it was prettier than the route that we rode.
It should have been.
Yeah, because there was some beautiful views. And my legs felt good, so the wind wasn't, it was a factor, but it wasn't as big of a factor as it was if I was just dog-ass tired.
Sure.
So I
Well,
thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm glad you like it. To bring things somewhat full circle on that, basically most of the best parts of that route, what
Mhm.
I'm assuming you thought were the best parts of that route,
Over Die Mound. Yeah.
that's exactly where Shannon and I did our first scouting for the first river. We started from there. That's where the inspiration for
Makes perfect sense.
our first gravelness was Shannon and I scouring those roads on our bicycles.
Where did we ride? I feel like this was before shiftless. I mean, before Spinistry existed. When we met at the Cracker Barrel up there, kind of by Greenville.
We were well into Spinistry mode then.
We were? Okay.
I think we were scouting one of our, when we made Holiday Ramble its own thing.
that was 15 years ago.
Holiday Ramble came
Yeah.
out 2011.
Okay.
2010, 2011.
Yeah.
First one was 2010. We did a really, really informal one.
Yeah.
It was Yuri and Lorinda and Chaos and
Yeah.
maybe Shannon.
I remember that though. And you were riding Panniers back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were like, I'm trying to figure out how to work this shit. You had to stop like every 20 miles or 15 miles.
I mean, that was before bikepacking bags were
I
around.
fully remember. I was on a mountain bike.
Yeah,
I think.
You were on your Soulcraft, I think.
I can't even remember now.
Yeah, I didn't get any footage of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably winter or early spring winter 2010 or early spring 2011, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I was probably getting ready for Dirty Kanza, is my guess, but I could be wrong.
Oh, then that would have been like
10, 11.
10, 11, yeah.
So
Yeah, because your last year to go was 2011.
11
right?
was the only time I went.
Oh, okay.
That's the only time I went.
Okay. Because I went 11 and 12. Okay.
So
Brad and I were talking about this last night, Kevin, and I think I might have texted you. But did you see that there is now a Central Texas Showdown and about to be a West Texas Showdown?
yeah, he's been talking about that for a while.
Has he? Okay, I haven't been paying attention, but he released the Central Texas Showdown route.
West Texas Showdown route.
No,
So-
West Texas isn't released yet. I looked at the Central.
Oh, well, he's done the Central one a couple years now.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Where have I been?
I don't know. He's been doing it out of Atlanta.
Yeah. 500 miles, 24,000 feet.
But a lot of it is paved.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's all of our old hill country Hyundai routes. The
Yeah, I
north,
saw that some of it
the
was
north
like
part
this,
of it was,
yeah.
but that's all paved now. But I think when you go further, so the short route, I can't remember what they have. What, a 250 and a 5? I don't know. The shorter route people are going to be mostly paved. The longer route people, as they go
Okay.
further south, will
Okay.
get a lot more unpaved.
Any idea where the West Texas is going to be?
Terlingua,
Is it really?
yeah.
No shit. Where else could it be?
Well, I mean, you could do Alpine, you could do Marathon, you could do Sanderson.
But how do you do that? The problem with Terlingua is just like how do you get water? That's like you have, these big bikepacking routes, they have resupply. That's part, like you're on your own resupply, but you can't just put people on the fucking moon, right? So
Evidently you can. I mean, that's the way, so there's that, what is it? The Transamerica Trail that people are running now. That's how I started looking at my going to California route, which is now the Tuba Trail. Originally, the Transamerica Trail it's an enduro motorcycle trail, but I looked at that, it's like, oh, well, we could probably do bicycles on most of it. And I started looking at that originally around 2017 or so, and there's just too many gaps for bicycles where there's just absolutely no resupply. I mean, there were long gaps for motorcycles. There were 300-mile gaps that, got to carry a gas can with me to be able to make it on a motorcycle, sort of thing, carry all my water and everything. If there's one 300-mile gap on a bicycle, that's one thing. Okay, I can prepare for
You can't make a
I don't think
300-mile
that's
gap
possible,
on
especially-
on
It's-
a bicycle.
It's done. I mean, you're gonna have to filter water.
Yeah.
right, but this is Southwest Texas. There's
But
water
that's why.
sources.
Well, there's cisterns and stuff.
Not that you can depend on.
Yeah.
and that's why. So that's what I'm saying. When I looked at the TAT, it's like that's not practical. But other people, promoters or whatever, are latching onto the Tat and saying that that's their version of a cross-country gravel ride. But it's not. Was that hail?
Might have been.
But so I opted to not do that. I started scouting the going to California route, and we're pretty good to Arizona with that, and where we're hitting.
Is that it? Is that hail?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Think it is.
I think it is. Well, you're in the garage. You're gold.
No, I'm saying shit for y'all's cars.
Yeah, I mean, living in Texas is part of the deal.
My truck just turned 150K yesterday.
Yeah, mine turned 13,000 miles yesterday. So, well, I beat up Caleb's brand new truck, so you can beat up my brand new truck, right? But
I guess I don't get that joke.
What was that? That was Can't Do Kansas. Where we had that crazy storm in Sanger.
That was Can't Do Kansas. It was the last one you did.
Yeah.
Before you got sick.
We had a crazy storm blow through there. It flooded the interstate at Sanger.
They couldn't get out. It was at the ball fields.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get out of the ball field area because the driveway into it, there's a bar ditch. It was flooded. They were stuck there, and he lost laptops and timing tables.
Lost all.
Blew everything down.
Yeah, we lost everything. We lost everything.
I was in. What town was I in?
We rode right by there when we went to Johnson Branch.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know where I was, but I was on the second half of the loop, almost to the northernmost part.
Was that when it got so hot?
No, that's when I had to hide out in a barn.
Oh
with
yeah,
cows. I jumped someone's fence with my bike and went into their working farm. There was no homestead there, but there was a barn. Hung out with cows for about, I don't know, an hour.
Yeah, we had tennis ball sized hail at the staging area, so that wiped out all of our equipment. Caleb's truck was parked there, brand new truck.
Yeah,
and well, everybody that was out on the long route got caught in it. People that did the 100-miler had just gotten in and out, but some of them got stuck because the storm that blew through literally just flooded the interstate and nobody could go anywhere. And it was just there was no tornado. It was just the hail core, right?
There was a threat of tornado for sure.
There was a threat, but there was no.
We were under a warning.
Yeah.
I got out of that barn and rode about 7 miles because I can't remember the name of that town, but I knew it was very close. So I rode about 7 miles headed towards that town, and I thought I'll get there. Because the gravel roads were flooding. And there were washout ruts. I mean, it was not a good place. And plus, I didn't know what was.
Was it Montague? Was it that far? It wasn't that far west, was it?
Anyway, as I'm heading into that town, I see a cyclist coming towards me, and it's Rich. And he says, "Kevin's on his way. He's going to meet us halfway on this road." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Was his heart rate through the roof, like 101?
We rode like 18 miles until we finally, we thought it was only going to be a couple of miles, but he couldn't get out of where he was, so we just kept riding, and it was so funny. I'd never heard these two fight and argue like a married couple, because
they are a married couple.
Because Kevin was trying to explain to him that I couldn't get here sooner because it was flooded. Rich was mad because this was 20 miles. You told me I was going to have to ride like 4 or 5 miles, and I'm just sitting back in the car. Can we just go? Can you guys just shut up and move on?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was funny, man. You guys were at each other. It was a bad day for both sides of the ride.
I was in his car, I think, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
You were in his white Subaru.
I'm not sure why that was, but
because probably you couldn't get yours out.
Maybe I can't remember exactly. Or no, because he had the bike rack. That's why.
Oh yeah, sure.
And yeah, it was one of those things that we knew weather was coming, so I was out on the road, on the route, checking on people on the short route, people seeing who was where, making sure that I was sweeping them. It was like I was willing to pick people up that might still be on the course. And the short route was 100 miles if I remember correctly. Those people were almost all done at that point. There were like a couple that had the last mile to go, and they're like, "No, I'm going to finish this damn thing." It's like, all right. And as they're finishing, I'm ahead of them, and I pull into the ball field, and the hail starts coming down.
Did you have cyclists trapped in that hail?
They hunkered down under a tree. And
I had to do that at Red River Riot one year.
And Foster had the timing set up and the wind had blown through, crazy sideways wind, and blown all the tents into the back of the trailer. And what he had done was he had tried to throw all the equipment in the trailer, but the wind was blowing so hard that he couldn't close the doors on the trailer. So he's outside in this tennis ball hail, just holding the doors of the tent shut. Freaking tennis ball size hail, pinging him on the shoulders and the head and everything. I said, get in the damn restroom. There's a cinder block restroom right there.
He was in it.
Yeah.
He was ready to help.
No, actually, I think I opened the door and said, "Get in the truck." That's what I think that was the deal. But man, he was full blown support crew that day. It's like, appreciate the effort, Dave, but that's a bit much.
I think there was only maybe 3 riders that were able to get past that line of storms because it was a small line.
Yeah.
And it basically, like, Rich and I were on the south end as it moved from east to west to east. And there was a small group of maybe 3 or 4 guys that were above the line that actually made it all the way around. So they never even got hit. They were north of it as it moved, and then by the time they started turning south, it had already got out. So, wow. Anyway, you remember that we went out and found it? I don't remember who it was.
I can't. Yeah, we found some. Hey, weather's always a factor. It does come into play on a pretty regular basis. And I want to look and see where Paris is. Paris is not quite getting slammed yet, but there's no. Yeah, it's made it to Honeygrove now, and it's still raining here.
Now they're calling for almost 2.5 inches of rain today.
Yeah. So. I'm going to go ahead and make the call. If I get this uploaded today or Thursday, we're recording this Wednesday morning-ish. If you're planning to join us in Paris this weekend, we're on, but we will be riding the net. We will be riding the Northeast Texas Trail.
How will you structure that? Would that be a yo-yo? You're going to go one end and back, or point to point, or what?
We ended up doing it last year that way for basically the same reasons.
Is this going to be an out and back?
It will be an out and back. Which works out well that way because then you have plenty of resupply. You go through several towns. Last year, the way we had it set up for if you went all the way to Clarksville and then back, and then to Roxton and then back, that was like 95 miles. I think it goes to Anona now, the trail from between Clarksville and Anona. But I'm not positive of that, so that's what I'm going to check on when I go up.
I'm down if you're down, Caleb.
When is that?
Saturday.
Not going to be good for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got Emily and the baby.
I just said
in.
I'm down if you're down. That's all I said.
I'd love to be down.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. So let's talk about the rat and the new comeback route, the looping route.
The rat loops.
So, couple questions.
Yes, sir.
And I'll try to make them as articulate as possible because I'm really good at being articulate.
Get your
How long
editing
have you-
hat ready.
No one is as humble as I am. I'm the most humble person I've ever.
I'm less competitive than you are.
How long have you been working on those spots? Were they some of the original rat sections that you've moved around? And then what are the possibilities of those new sections being a part of the route this year? Or will you ever consider, I'm excited because it's new areas to ride or new roads to ride that are, at some point it doesn't look like it's within 15 or 20 miles.
Oh shit! 15 minutes to go preem.
Bear with me a moment. I'm going to pause and get this. Hey, Becky. It's going well, except for this blob of rain that's headed that way. So I think we're going to be shifting back to the net again, most likely, like we did last year. How are you doing? Very good. I understand. Well, I do miss you. Make no mistake about that. But I'm glad you've moved on to the next phase of your life. That means a lot. I know. Excellent. Well, your help with everything we've done over the years is sincerely appreciated. We wouldn't be who we are without you. I'm gonna miss you terribly. But like I said, it's you know, we all go to that next phase, and I think you're gonna have a wonderful next part of your life, and y'all are gonna enjoy each other very much. Did I send you that link to the rat documentary that got filmed a couple years ago? Have you seen that yet? I don't think I did. I don't think it's made it to the folks at Parish yet. Owen just released the documentary a few months ago, and he made it available on YouTube a few weeks ago. Do me a favor. Send me an email. I know I have your email address somewhere. Send me an email. I'm at a thing right now. When I get home, I'll send you a link to the documentary. The rat and the things around it are going to be a huge part of where we're going forward. We're in the middle of actually talking about that in a podcast right now, so I need to let you go pretty soon. But I didn't want to miss your call. I wanted to let you know how important you are to what the future of this is going to be, and we're recording a podcast about it right now. We'll be checking in starting at 8, and riders will start rolling at 9. And I'm considering actually riding in it myself this year. So I may not, if I do ride, I won't be around after 9 for a few hours. But send me a message. I'm probably going to get there Friday morning. I was thinking about going up there tomorrow and start camping, but there's really no point in it now. So I'll probably be there early Friday morning. Send me a message and we'll get together. Okay, Becky? Thank you. Bye. That's our contact at the Lamar Chamber of Commerce, that she has been so instrumental in everything we've done in that end of the world. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I had to take that call. Sorry,
no,
guys.
that's fine, man.
Okay. We're rolling again. We're back. All right.
And hold on. And we're back.
And we're back. It was happy little accidents. Somewhat coincidental. We were just talking about the rat and the next phase of the rat that I'm calling the rat loops.
Yeah. And
got a call from a person that was very instrumental in all that coming together. We'll talk about Becky and Lamar Chamber of Commerce another time. So your questions were,
yeah. So how long? Where did it come from? Have you always wanted to make make it a loop? And how long did it take you? And will we be able to be on any of those sections for the proper point-to-point race?
Okay. So let's kind of cover this one bite at a time. So what Caleb's asking about, for those that aren't familiar, I just announced yesterday, maybe the day before, that we've put together a series of essentially 100-ish mile loops along the RAT route. It utilizes from east to west the proper RAT route, but then it, at about every 50 miles roughly, it doubles back to the starting point down a different network of roads. And the vast majority of those roads, and if this doesn't answer your questions, then let me know. The vast majority of those roads are either roads that we've previously used on different versions of the RAT. Mm-hmm. It took us about 5 years to nail down the final RAT for various reasons. Or that roads that we're already familiar with that we use for different events that are along that RAT corridor. So basically we have a series of 18 loops. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that people that aren't able to take a week and do the full RAT, if they want to go out a weekend at a time and do sections of the RAT, they've got a full loop that they can do. I can do 200 miles of the RAT on this trip, loop back. It's a 400-mile trip, but I didn't have to ride the same roads out and back. Yeah. So it's a full loop. Hypothetically, theoretically, that could turn into a 2,000-mile RAT loop with very little overlap. So it's a stacked loop system, like mountain bike trails is basically what it is.
Yeah, it's like a extended, it's like a daisy chain. You know?
Exactly. That's the concept behind it. At the moment, I don't have any plans to make the loop an event per se. What I want to do is, at the moment, these are mapped routes. The loop parts, the parts that are the actual RAT are the RAT. Those are solid. The loop back parts are hypothetical that I'm pretty confident in, but I know that there are going to be issues. So the plan is to put together Club Spinistry rides and get a dedicated party group together that's willing to take chances and can self-navigate and adjust on the fly if needed.
Take chances.
I know you do. Everything about you's a risk. Has anyone ever told you that?
Risque.
Risque.
It's French.
And
I'm what they refer to as high risk.
And go out and do some adventures.
Will we get to see, like, are there any new sections of this that you may go out and are interested in that may replace the proper Texarkana to Tucumcari route?
I mean, hypothetically, it could happen if we come across something that, this is cool. I had no idea it was here. It's really neat. It could turn into a main feature on the RAT. I think the realistic scenario is if I come across something like that, it just reinforces the case for a full loop.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
But it's also a placeholder for reroutes as well, right? Like if you had a forest fire or road closure.
Hypothetically, sure. It could work that way. Right now we kind of already have an alternate route. It's what we call La Ruta Suave. Mm-hmm. So for each of the RAT segments, we have a paved segment alternate.
That makes sense.
For foul weather or flooding or roads closed or whatever else.
Well,
now, the caveat to that is if somebody rides the La Ruta Suave, they accomplished 1,000 miles of paved riding across Texas. Fantastic. You're not going to get logged as a RAT finisher on that. To get that finish, you have to do the RAT route itself. If you just want to knock out miles and get from Texarkana to Tucumcari and you don't want to sit out a day because of bad weather, hit a paved segment. You won't get an official time. If you want the official time, wait it out or walk through the mud. Is kind of the idea. It really hasn't come into play so far. Most of the people that ran into weather conditions that give them a 0 day or whatever, if they're going for a time, they all pull the plug at that point. It's like, I can't make my time now.
No.
Which, that's always frustrated me. It's like, okay, so you didn't get your record that you were shooting for. Go ahead and ride as far as you can. Take a day off.
Finish it. Yeah.
But not everybody thinks that way. So, did that answer all of your questions?
Yeah. It's really cool because I want to explore more of those routes that get out, west of Munster. Like, everything after Munster is where the magic happens. Kind of, that's where it starts.
Understood. I found some cool stuff. Or actually, Paris is going to be. We'll go to Paris and we'll do a long weekend there, starting from Paris and doing the loops both east and west of Paris. We'll try those out. We'll probably St. Joe has some fantastic loops out of it. There's a really neat one that the Glen Rio San Juan, that starts from a dispensary. So right there at the Texas state line. Were you aware of that? They put in this really cool dispensary on the New Mexico side, right there where the ghost town at Glen Rio was.
Yeah.
There's a really cool dispensary.
We just start there.
That's where that loop starts. From the dispensary, it starts and ends there. So,
I just remember how cold it was that day when I went through.
Weather is always a factor.
Man.
Well, and that's another thing. These Club Spinistry loop tests of the rat loops, those are probably generally going to be pop-up-ish rides sort of thing where, oh, hey, we don't have anything going on this weekend as a formal event. Weather looks good out here. Hey, we're going to Childress and we're going to do a loop. Who wants to join us? So that's kind of the concept behind it. Are we going to get 500 people showing up for that? Of course not. If we get 5, that's a hell of a group to have a good time with.
Yeah. Even if one of them is rich.
But I know the rat routes well enough and most of that whole corridor well enough that I'm confident we can put those loops together this year and make them final and official and everything like that, and test out that concept for what would ultimately be a full 2,000 mile loop. And that makes it a spine also for the Tuba Trail. So ultimately I want to do that for the Tuba Trail as well, but also I have it mapped out for Tasha as well.
Man, so many things I want to ride.
And so my plan is for myself to use the Tasha loops for me to ride Tasha.
Could you stop with recording the podcast here?
Sorry.
What's wrong with you?
There's stuff in the air.
I'm allergic to cuteness.
Look at that little cute girl. You just cute. Yeah, Tasha Trail too, man. God, I want to ride it. I want to ride all the things.
Well, and everybody does. And I realized how many people can take 6, 8, 10 days at a time to do these. No, but can you take 3 or 4 long weekends over the course of a year and knock out big chunks of it and have a hell of an adventure? Yes. Which reminds me,
I'm just gonna cash in all my investments and live while I'm young. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to live off of a bicycle and a hammock, So my tent should be shipping pretty soon. I'm freaking stoked. So,
which one did you end up getting again?
the Durston X-Dome +1.
What does +1 mean?
1 Plus. I'm sorry. Here,
wait a minute. And where is that shipping from?
I've already prepaid.
I understand. It doesn't mean it's coming, though. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Motherfucker, don't.
Okay, I was asking a simple question.
Oh yeah, I remember this. This is the one that's got the cool weird offset.
Yes.
It's like a wedge shaped
Vestibule.
Body.
Yeah.
No, the actual body itself, Kevin.
Oh yeah, that's
shaped
right.
like a
That's
wedge,
right. That's right. Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
offset is the vestibule area.
He explained that to me.
I'm stoked on it.
What are the dimensions on it?
It's got a full. I sent you the link.
I'm looking at it. So it's 88 long. With it's 85 interior. And one end is 27 inches and one end is 50. So it's a wedge. But then you've got that 22-inch
Yeah, vestibule.
vegetable,
Yeah.
like carrots and broccoli.
It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. And you got that wide.
Yeah, you
Cross-
can't say things like that. That's not nice.
Yeah. It's got that cross beam that goes horizontal that gives you more shoulder.
Yes.
Because I find it difficult to sit up and
Yeah.
lie.
I've watched numerous videos on this, and they actually just released a new tent. Where is it?
I'm looking for the specs. How much is this thing wet? It wets complete is 34.7 ounces.
Yeah, they have a new one that just came out. That I think it's the X Dome 2. Yeah, and it's not that heavy either. Something completely unrelated to bikes that I wanted to put on both of your guys' radar. That
No, that's not allowed. We only talk about bicycles on the show.
Brad, that tent's kind of heavy.
edit it out. No, it's not.
That tent's 2.25 pounds,
Yeah.
isn't it? I think my Nemo is almost a pound less.
It's not.
It's not. Am I wrong?
Not with poles.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Chef's Table just came out with a new season, and I watched the first episode last night.
I don't know what Chef's Table is.
It's one of the best. That and Inside a Chef's Mind are probably two of my favorite shows that I get excited about. Like, just the intro music excites me because I know how good the show is going to be.
Okay.
It's Pavlovian at this point. But the first episode was all about Jamie Oliver and his rise and fall. And not really fall, but kind of his disappearing into obscurity. And it is so good.
So where is this?
Netflix.
I don't do the Netflix. So.
Yeah, well,
You're not a Netflixer?
I am not.
Netflix and chill?
I am not a Netflix and chill guy.
It's called Masters or something series or Legends or something, right? It's Chef's Table Legends.
something like that. Yeah.
So it's going over.
It's
more-
highlighting individual chefs instead of like culinary styles or restaurants or regional cuisine or anything like that. Yeah. Oh, severe weather alert.
It's Alexa telling us it's going to start raining soon.
Flash flood. It's still raining.
And Paris is getting hammered right now with everything we've had so far heading that way.
We're getting hammered.
Right.
My tomato plants are happy.
Well, there you go. It's all about you.
I don't know if your tomato plants.
We've already gotten 1.35 inches of rain.
Is it
Already. And
really? It'd be impossible to get down there, but I want to see how high the creek is flowing through
the low water.
The low water crossing. Yeah.
That was so fun coming back through there last night.
He drove me home, so I rode to TNSS,
Mm-hmm.
did a lap, and then he ferried me back, and we cut through the
Corbin?
No,
What?
Hickory Creek.
Oh, there's a low water crossing in Hickory Creek?
It actually, there's riprap in the creek. They built it.
Oh,
they
okay.
cut a hole in it.
Okay.
But they looks like they're starting back again. There was equipment out there. There was 2 new trailer offices. They had already excavated the sides of that creek crossing that looks like to move heavier equipment through it. And they had put up some mounds right at the base of the crossing to prevent people from trying to drive their vehicles over, but natural erosion. But they moved all that out. So anyway, who knows? But I want to see how much water's flowing in there. But it's impossible.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot. Denton Creek's going to be interesting to come this time tomorrow. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So we're Knob Hills is done. No doubt about that. We might be getting to.
It still hadn't even opened. It wasn't open yesterday.
Oh, it still wasn't open
I
yet.
don't think so. Yeah, which is great.
So,
It sucks, man. It's gonna be a lot of work to get that thing.
yeah, it is what it is. What is the Grapevine Lake level right now? What other bike rides have people been doing? Y'all did TNSS last night, right?
I didn't talk about riding up to Munster, did I?
No, because you haven't been on the show,
That's
Caleb.
true. So
Tell us.
Yeah, so weekend of the Red River riot, I rode from Denton. Is it Denton? Denton, Texas?
Something along those lines.
Denton. Rode up to
That's the gun.
4R Ranch, which is north of Munster, which is where the base camp Red River route was, and had a fantastic ride. Thank you for the route once again.
I'm glad you liked it.
Beautiful route.
What was your mileage from here to there?
I believe it was right around 72, 70-ish miles.
Did you have a tailwind the whole way?
I had a headwind the whole
Oh,
way.
did you?
And then that night the wind shifted
Son of a bitch.
and had a south wind. So woke up that next, had a great camp, slept amazing.
Mhm.
By the way, and I texted you guys about this, that may be our new spring trip location instead of Grasslands.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because there's so much more good riding out there.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of a long route, but the camping facilities are cool. Like, I don't know, I like the idea. I'm not trying to be a bougie bitch, but it was nice taking a shower. It was a little hot that day.
Yeah.
Understood.
But here's the other cool thing, and this is a big seller me. If you pay for a camp spot, you get free firewood.
You do.
They supply you with firewood.
Wow.
Yeah, it's already cut. It's already in bundles. It's right there. Anyway, that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
So that night, I got cleaned up, and I went with Uncle Rich and Jesse into town. We went to Dairy Queen, had a Hunger Buster. Delish.
You have a blizzard?
I didn't.
You did.
I knew I would sleep out if I had to. I would wake up with some real stuff. Little gigs. Woke up the next morning.
Well, that is the downside too.
What's that?
When our porta johns aren't there, you don't want to lean on their
Oh yeah.
facilities.
They had one. Is that bad? It seemed clean.
Okay, so sometimes it's hit or miss. I'll leave it
There's
at that.
definitely a concern that a rattlesnake is going to come out from under that.
It was probably by the time you
Bite
got
me
there,
in
it
the
probably
vajay.
was clean because I had complaints earlier that
I see.
it needed to be
I see.
handled.
Yeah. So next morning, got up, packed everything on my bike, did the 30-mile Red River Riot loop, fully packed, which was fun, and then came back around, refueled, climbed Windmill Hill twice, fully loaded. I'm gonna flex these muscles.
Cleaned it, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then started heading home. And what? 4-hour ranch.
Into the teeth of a 30-mile-an-hour headwind. Yes.
So 4-hour ranch is what, 9.5 miles from
Munster?
Something like that.
Probably something like that.
It took me an hour and 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And I still had 65-ish, 64 miles left or whatever. And I thought it's going to take me 10 hours. Like I was redlining my heart, pedaling downhill and getting 9 or 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I threw the flag in the ring.
Just be glad you didn't go home on Sunday. It was even windier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah. So one of the few times I had to call Kate. She came and pick me up, but I'm glad I did.
Is that when she hurt her foot kicking you in the ass for making her come pick
Yeah,
her up?
she did. She kicked me in the ass and said I was such a puss. You need to keep getting on your bike. But anyway, but that was 4R is a great place to camp.
It is.
I've been out there multiple times. I've never camped.
Well, you can't change Sacred Spring to that because Brad and I are going to be doing. Did we get to talk to Lori any about that June stuff we were talking about last?
You guys taking over my event? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, we're co-opting it.
Are you lifetiming me?
Yeah.
That was Caleb, not Kevin. That was Caleb for a change, not Kevin.
Lifetime presents Sacred Spring.
Yeah, and we're going to have a qualifier event.
I've seen the golden coins. Yeah, I saw it on a Zoom call that they're handing out. They're legit physical gold coins.
All right, so
Really?
do we want to shoot for that June weekend we were talking about?
I think I'm... What weekend were we talking? Because I did have something come up on my calendar. I have a private event the last weekend of June.
I think it was 7th or 8th weekend, or the weekend before Father's Day is what we were thinking.
Well, that's isn't that 24 hours in the canyon? We're gonna have a bunch of bros going for that.
I thought that was Memorial Day weekend or whatever. Is it not? Or okay.
Yeah, I can do June 7th weekend.
Is that 24?
No.
I thought 24 hours in the canyon is usually before then.
Yeah,
I think it's the weekend after Memorial Day. I think it's the last weekend of May.
it is. It's the 30th.
Yeah.
31st. It's always the same day, or on the same weekend as Unbound.
As Unbound.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So That's not a conflict for you.
No. And you asked about upcoming biking trips. Our buddy Justin Helpenstill, him and I were talking, and then May 17th weekend, I think we're going to go up to Possum Kingdom and camp and ride some of that trail. And so I'm thinking about riding. How far would it be from my house to Possum Kingdom with a decent route? Like 80 miles?
I think more than that, but I would have to look at that.
Yeah.
And decent route is relative. It would be paved the whole way.
The whole way?
Pretty close.
There's good gravel out there, though. Jacksboro area?
You're going. Jacksboro's not going to get you. Let me look at the maps when I get home.
Okay.
Let me look at the maps when we get home.
Because I was thinking about, he was talking about Friday through Sunday. I was going to ride up there, camp, hang out with them, and then catch a ride back. Because I'm going to pick my mom up on that Sunday from Shreveport. She's going to come hang out for a couple of weeks. So
we'll kind of be in that neck of the woods that weekend. I might be able to figure out a way to get you home.
Well, I mean, I've already, Justin said he'll bring me around
okay.
home. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't thinking that through.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't.
I was thinking Justin was going to be riding back. No, never mind.
No, he's just going to go up there and set up base camp.
Understood.
And I was just going to bike pack up there just to get some miles and
let me play
sleep
with
outside.
That. I'm pretty sure it's almost all paved, but there's some interesting stuff. But it's paved.
Yeah, that was the only thing about that route, the 31-mile route, the Sunday route that you sent me, is there was a couple of. I get they were unavoidable.
The FM road.
Yeah, it was either 455.
Whatever it is between Forestburg and Monte.
Yeah. There was a section of that was like a mile and a half long, and the shoulder's only this wide, like from the line over, but you have the line and you have rumble strip, so you're riding a skinny for like a mile and a half.
Understood.
But
more than likely you didn't experience more than 2 or 3 vehicles.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad because it was a Monday. And the only other thing is the very end of that route. After I finished, I looked and I should have taken that last left and gone into Dry Valley or whatever.
Yeah. I wanted to send you down some new dirt as opposed to sending you down what you'd already been on that week. But yeah, the last stretch was going to be some FM road, and it's like Brad's going to bust my balls on that one.
But there was a go around, like.
But it would just been the stuff you've already been on.
It would have taken. It would have gone. I guess if I was headed south, so I would have headed east, and then headed south again and linked back up with that Dewey Road. And so I would have came back in the same way I left out, except for you go up Dewey and then you go east. I would have been coming in from the west.
It would have been the same stuff we rode. The day we rode is what I meant.
But just the opposite direction. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's fair. But it would have kept me off 1749.
Understand.
Yeah.
Understand.
It's all good. There was construction going on, so it was actually nice because they were stopping vehicles and stuff, so people were on high alert. And I love it. Am I the only one when I see the big construction sign that says "Be prepared to stop"? Does that not make everybody else chuckle? I'm like, when are you driving when you're not prepared to stop? Have you ever been driving and you're like, oh shit, I wasn't ready to stop? It just cracks me up that they put a sign that says "Be prepared to stop."
I mean, it's not as funny as guardrail damage ahead, but
yeah. That one is pretty good. I haven't seen that one in a while.
Or how about the ones that say lane closed, merge left?
Oh yeah.
And people are still flying past you.
Yeah.
Zipper merge is the way to go.
I like the zipper, man.
I'm a fan of the zipper merge. I just wish everybody would do it so people don't get so tense about it. If everybody's doing it, we're all on the same page.
Right.
But hey, it's the world we live in. It's very polarized.
Yeah.
Polar.
Amy Poehler.
Sure.
I think it stopped raining.
It may have.
We're done. Yeah, it's done raining.
For a bit. For a bit. Let's go hit North Shore.
Man, that place is a mess right now.
Dude, it's so sad too because it was absolute hero dirt last night.
It was more hero-er
Yeah.
on Sunday when I rode down there.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, there was quite a bit of sloppy spots. There's some standing water.
So that was what was weird is we rode short west. It was bone dry.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw like there was new water on the east, like areas that aren't normally an issue.
Yeah, there was. I think some of it is
That
some construction.
right there about the turnaround at Lakeside.
Yeah,
Where did all that water come from? It's
draining off those.
yeah. They gotta fix that.
Yeah,
That's
I
bad.
think the reason why the west typically dries well is because it's all on a hill.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much the entire thing is on a
Yeah.
downhill. Yeah, there were some pretty sloppy spots, but it wasn't too bad. I noticed there's a couple new bridges. I actually saw, what's the section of North Shore
Where the tree and the rock,
no,
where that root is.
That root thing.
that one route? No, it's the, it's
East, west.
east side
Mm-hmm.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You're stepping on a story.
No, I'm trying to give some
Well,
context.
I will admit that I've been riding there for not as long as you guys I know, but I've been riding there for at least 10 years, and I still don't have the loops memorized. So
Well,
I know this is on me.
the loops are actually a new thing, but anyway.
So it's that one section where you go into a little creek crossing. There's immediately hard dogleg to the left, immediate hard dogleg to that little bridge, and then another hard dogleg up over